and welcome back to my YouTube channel. I wasn't even planning on making a video today, but I wanted to sit down and talk a little about how the whole journey has been going since I started posting again, but also because I looked at some of the videos that I've posted in the past couple of weeks. And I noticed that I haven't just sat down and talked for a while. I've kind of been on the go a lot, which I still am. I'm currently on a work trip actually, which I'm also vlogging. Yes, so that's what I mean. I haven't sat down and really checked in. And I wanted to do that and also talk about what it's like to maintain a healthy pace when you're juggling multiple things on the way to success. First, honestly, that word success, at least for me, when I started posting again early this year, I had to redefine it for myself. So success for me is doing the work, putting something out. I'm sure it'll change when I check in again at the end of this year or at the beginning of next year, and I'm looking at the specifics of what I did this year. I'm sure I'm going to add some numbers in there, some metrics, some things that are quote unquote quantifiable. But when I decided to start posting again on YouTube this year, it was very important for me to not focus on metrics. Metrics are not on any of my vision boards, any of my goals. I just wanted to get myself to a point where I was putting out content and I was working on my creativity on a regular basis and not just as something that is a by the wayside. And as you can imagine, that has been one of the most impactful things. It was a really, really good decision that I made. And it is something that I will always recommend. Whatever it is that you decide to do, the best thing you can do is start out asking yourself, writing down why you want to do this. If that's something that you haven't figured out yet, that's something you should definitely do. And not just because it is a good reminder to always have something that you can always pull yourself back to, or that will always pull you back, is a, why am I doing this? I need to remember why I'm doing this so I don't get distracted if things seem like they're not happening the way I want them to happen or the way I expect them to happen. That's one thing. But the second thing that is important, at least for me to add, is when you're asking yourself, why am I doing this? It doesn't have to be the most significant thing in the world. It can be as small as, I just want to express myself. I just want to learn what my voice sounds like. So if you don't know why you want to do something, like you don't have a grand reason, it doesn't have to be this grand life-changing, overly life-affirming thing. It doesn't have to be something with a purpose, quote unquote. It just has to be something that you want to do. The fact that you want to do something because you're curious to find out who you will be on the journey of doing that thing is enough in and of itself. That is more than valid. Okay? Learning all of this has really been the most contributing factor to why I seem to have been more consistent this year than I have been in the past 2 years combined. I'm talking specifically on YouTube because I've been pretty consistent on TikTok. But for me, it's hard. For me, it's really hard. I'm a one-woman show, and I also have a full-time job. But I love expressing myself. I love sharing the things that I create so much. I've gone by some years where I wasn't creating anything, I wasn't doing anything, and it was not a fun time. It was not a fun time for me. So if I didn't feel the need to do it, I wouldn't do it. I'm literally doing it because it is just what I love to do. But at the same time, I have it written somewhere at home, actually, that no matter what it is, no matter what I'm making, whether it is in my quote unquote professional life or it is in my creative life, I will enjoy being in my life. That is something that I struggled with because I grew up learning to be so focused on achieving something and being something that I very much most of the time would lose focus of why I was actually doing what I was doing, and I wasn't even enjoying the process. So that is the top of the vision board for my 30s actually, is that I will learn to enjoy being in my life, not for my main sole focus to be a better person or to be a more successful person, but that on my way to being all those things, I'm going to actually enjoy being in my life. I'm not going to wait to hit certain metrics or to quote unquote achieve certain things before I actually start enjoying. I will enjoy the process of being in my life while I am living it. While I am getting better, I'm going to enjoy every step of the journey, or literally die trying, which is what we do anyway. We will keep going until we're no longer here. So if you're where I was a couple of months ago and you don't know where to start and you don't quite know how you're going to even figure out what exactly it is that you want to do, your why can be something as small as what mine was. Like I said, mine was just, I want to get more comfortable comfortable expressing myself. I'm worthy of taking up space, of being creative, and there's absolutely no reason why I shouldn't share that. I shouldn't share that with anyone who is interested. I'm not going to spiritually or psychologically hoard myself, because I'm so protective of whatever I'm going to live. The irony of it for me is that all these things that I listed, the taking up space, wanting to express myself, wanting to be creative, these are not hard things for me to come by. These are really natural things to me. They are things that come effortlessly to me, but doing it in public was the hardest part, especially in my 20s when I was ravaged with anxiety. I don't know why it is so difficult for me to do these things when I'm surrounded by external people, so that's also something that I've had to work through, figure out where those feelings are coming from and, who are the voices in my head, where did this voice start? Because the voices in my head that are critical are not mine. They can sound like you sometimes, but they're not yours. So figuring out where those voices even come from, where did they begin? Who is that voice in your head? Also, very, very important work to do. I guess the main thing that I want to share is that you can start over. I feel like I've said this so many different times on so many different posts, but I think it is worth repeating because it is such an easy concept for us to forget that while there are many limitations that are outside of yourself, you do still have complete control over the decisions that you make with the resources that you have. And the resources might be small, but there is always something that you can do. So if you're going to have limitations, you shouldn't be one of them. You shouldn't be one of the roadblocks that is on your way. That is a pretty easy one to deal with. Don't hold yourself back. Don't stop yourself. And if you had stopped yourself before in the past, then now is as good a time as any for you to start over. You can pick up from where you left off. You can re-strategize and start all over again. No one can stop you from doing that. There is a quote that I saw on Tumblr. It's actually a quote of a quote, but there's one that I saw on Tumblr randomly years ago. And the person said, "There is no statute of limitations on starting over. There's absolutely none. You can reinvent yourself every day if you want to. Be the girl who walks barefoot and listens to the blues. Tomorrow you can decide to wear a trench coat and speak fierce truths. Be a phoenix, be ashes. You can burn down. You can resurrect. Let go of the idea that you must always be who you always have been." And I love that quote so much. It's so simple. It's so random. It's so rudimentary. You would think it goes without saying, but many of us hold ourselves back from who we could be because we are so attached to who we think we are, who we always have been, the role that we've been playing in other people's lives. We're so tied down to it and we're so scared to shake the foundation of our lives and consequently everyone else's lives. So we instead make the even harder choice to stay the way we are, to stay the way we've always been, to keep ourselves comfortable, to keep everyone else comfortable. And I'm not saying it's easy. It is definitely not easy. Take it from someone who has reinvented herself multiple times. I know exactly what it can feel like to lose community, to recognize the fact that really embracing yourself authentically will alienate you to some people. Some people just won't understand you. I'm not even talking about haters. I'm not talking about people who will just not like you. I'm talking about people who genuinely are well-meaning, family members, friends, close people to you who just won't know what to do with a new version of you, but more because changing who you are sometimes means they have to change their own worldview. They have to change not just the way they see you, right? But they have to, it's a very difficult thing to navigate. People just don't want to have to deal with change on many levels for whatever reason. So I understand how hard it can be, but you know what is harder than not living authentically, living inauthentically? It is very hard. You will be constantly putting up a front because you are keeping up with the lie. It takes up more energy. You're constantly watching what you're saying, how you're presenting yourself, how people are reacting to what you're saying. You're checking yourself. You're not living your life. You're above your life, watching for every mistake, every wrong thing that you're saying. It is not a way to live. It is not a way to live at all. This entire chit chat has been a little all over the place, but the main point that I wanted to make is that as someone who has consistently been on some kind of creative journey or the other, I totally understand what it's like to want to get to the destination, to want to quote unquote achieve success in a way that you can show and prove to people like, hey, I did this, I did what I said I was going to do and I was successful at it. I absolutely understand that. But the bulk of your life is going to be spent in the journey, on the process of getting to where you want to get to, and you don't don't have to be someone who is navigating a creative journey to relate to that. My sister is freshly in college. She's starting out her college education. And this is the same advice that I would give to her, right? Even though it's not technically a creative journey. If you spend most of your life waiting to get to the destination before you start being happy, before you start feeling satisfied or content, you're only going to be happy for a very short period in your life. Because if you don't start learning to find happiness in the moments, in the process of creating the thing, of making the thing, of working towards the thing, the time when you actually like get success, that feeling, it's so short. It comes and then you're on to the next thing. That's kind of how life is, right? So yeah, that's what I'm learning. Whatever journey you are on, I hope you stay the course. If you had paused for whatever reason and you want to continue, I hope you feel empowered to do whatever it is that you want to do. Your soul will appreciate small steps that you take every day rather than these huge things that you're planning for and you never really see through. That's one thing that I've learned over the course of my, creative journey. I hope you found that helpful. I'm about to leave for my meeting. So yeah, thanks for hanging with me this morning. This was fun. It was a very, quick chat that was kind of all over the place, but I'm glad you stuck with me through it. I hope you found this helpful. Let me know what you think in the comments, and I look forward to seeing you in my next video. Bye.